Life is seed.
It is claimed that the world produces enough food to feed everyone. World agriculture produces 17% more calories per person today than it did 30 years ago, despite a 70% population increase. Is there indeed a hunger crisis? South Africa has the third highest level of biological diversity in the world. This diversity provides food for its inhabitants and is of imperative importance to respect and maintain, especially if we bear in mind that about 80% of our food supply comes from a mere 20 species of plants. Maize is the most important grain crop in South Africa and is produced throughout the country under diverse conditions. We have recently seen annual total crop productions of over 12 million tons. Botanically, maize belongs to the grass family and is a tall annual plant with an extensive fibrous root system. It is a cross-pollinating species, with a female, the cob, and the male, tassel, that flower in separate places on the plant. The grain develops on the cobs, with often one on each stalk. Each cob produces about 300 to 1,000 kernels. At the risk of sounding corny, one cannot help by being amazed by maize. No other crop utilizes sunlight more efficiently than maize, and its yield per hectare is the highest of all grain crops. In many developing countries, maize is consumed directly and serves as staple diet for some 200 million people. Most of us regard maize as a breakfast cereal. In processed form, however, it is also used as fuel and starch. The protein, hulls and soluble parts of the maize kernel are used in animal and poultry feed. Being a native plant from Central America, maize had to undergo some improvement to develop into the successful agricultural crop it has become on the African continent and in South Africa in particular. This improvement was mainly achieved through conventional breeding and the introduction of hybrids. Pest and weed control during the cultivation of maize, however, remained an important constraint. Genetic modifications through modern biotechnology for insect and herbicide resistance were the most recent technological advances in improving this particular crop. Genetic modification is subject to stringent legislation on biosafety in South Africa, and only traits which have been evaluated as safe for humans, animals and the environment are approved for commercial release. In the case of herbicide resistance, I would say that the most important benefit is that it makes weed control so much easier to manage due to the fact that herbicides can now be applied after emergence of the crop, without actual damage to the crop itself. I shall continue to use this genetically modified maize, as it eliminates the need for chemical weed control prior to crop emergence. Despite the fact that the selection of a high-quality performance maize variety, with seed quality optimized for growth and yield, usually pays off, seed can still be vulnerable to attacks from insects and microorganisms like fungi when planted. It is only through a combination of the best seed and best seed protection that a high and rapid crop emergence can be guaranteed, thus ensuring a prospective yield. Modern seed dressings offer the best protection right from the very beginning. Seed treatment agents for seed protection are one of the oldest plant protection techniques in the world. Even in ancient times, a wide variety of substances were experimented with. The first real successful breakthrough, however, occurred about 90 years ago. The water-based treatment, developed during the 1970s, has now become the industry standard. National legislation governing the registration of suitable products for this purpose insists on sophisticated tests to ensure that produce is residue-free and that all seed coating products meet the required biosafety standards. Chemical and seed specialists continue to develop and utilize new methods to ensure crop protection. Intelligent seed protection, which not only protects the seed but also the growing plants, demonstrates the potential of this technology. New active ingredients and formulations which work systemically, are distributed through the plants by sap flow to provide continued protection after germination, and with impressive results.
We're going to evaluate ordinary maize, which is Zea maize. The reason why it's red, it's because it's treated with a fungicide, and this is a value-added treatment to the seed to protect it during those initial stages of germination against unwanted fungal attacks.
Seed coating, of course, is not only restricted to maize. Most other agricultural crop seeds are also treated or coated in one way or another. A more advanced form of seed coating is seed pelleting to enhance flow ability for sowing purposes, among the other advantages of seed coating. This is particularly relevant in the case of small seeded vegetables, as well as chaffy grasses, where seed is still contained in floral parts. It is estimated that in our world, with about 6.7 billion people, 963 million people across the world are hungry. Millions of children die from hunger-related causes, one child every 5 seconds. It is in this context that we need to look at the importance of our ongoing understanding of seeds and plants, especially maize and wheat, in a world where good nutrition is a potential reality for every single human being.
Seed is life, life is seed.